Hello, hello. What's going on? How's everybody doing today? Sorry, I'm just clearing some stuff. Goodness gracious, so many notifications over here. There they are. Hey Ryan, hey Zazu, hey Mr. Man. Hey, just let you guys know, they already have me on a restriction on this one too. So like I'm going to end this if the appeal doesn't go through. Yeah, if they don't appeal my restriction, I'm going to end it over there. But I'll be over on the other spots. We'll see what's up. I think it's putting in some stuff to recognize my second account, which in that case, I'm not only doing that, I'm shutting down this account. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm actually going to lose it. You got to lose yourself. Hey everyone, how's it going? Oh shoot, I didn't start over here. I didn't start over here too. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I see you guys over there. I'm dealing with one specific problem on one specific platform. But Shay, Feisty, Epic, Whiskey, how you guys doing over there? Blinded, I see you. Cassandra, Pete, Ricky, Mr. Terry, Emery. Goodness, we got everybody over here. VJ, what's going on? Crygo, Dre Day. Yeah, we got so many people in here. Alan, Corey, what's going on? Mark. No, YouTube is fine. YouTube is just fine. We're having problem on the inferior app over here, the one that for some reason doesn't like me lately. But that's okay. I don't really like it either. If you want to be straight up. Luckily, we're going to keep jamming out anyway. It don't matter. We don't need any of that, huh? What's up, Batcave? How you doing? Tara, thank you so much for the pumpkin carriage. Thank you so much. I actually didn't think I was going to hit that one. I just kind of threw it up there for fun. I actually didn't think I was going to get that one. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. I appreciate that. I just threw it up there. It was on like the stream Oween type of thing. Like it was like, oh, these are the gifts you can try to get. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to take like the biggest one on this little thing and see if I can get it. That's funny. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Can you ask me what I did for Ari for her birthday? Absolutely. Saturday was actually when we celebrated. We went out and we had massages, saunas, and facials. Then I took her out to a very nice restaurant and had a great dinner there. And then we went to a pop punk emo night. Oh no, then we went and got her tattoo. Then we got a tattoo. Well, he didn't get a tattoo. She got a tattoo. And she went and got a tattoo. And then we went to the pop punk emo night and rocked out until I lost my voice. That was Saturday. Yeah. And then today, even though we celebrated on Saturday, we still went out and got dinner today. Before the live. We got a little tacos for Taco Tuesday. So Corey, if there is, I don't know what it is. She doesn't even tell me what's on there, to be completely honest with you. Oh yeah, we had a good old time. Yeah, she wanted a little tattoo for her. She wanted a little tattoo for her birthday. She had never gotten one like that. She's telling me what she liked not too long ago. Batcave, yes, I am familiar with him. Yeah, he's actually been up here before. He's actually been up here on this live before, yeah. Which is pretty cool. Well, I obviously am having problems with my backup over here. They put some weird restriction on me that they started as soon as I hit the go button on, again, just the tiki-talkies over there. As soon as I hit the go button, they put a weird restriction on me. So either they're going to lift it or I'm going to go someplace else and just continue my stream elsewhere, because I'm not going to fight with them. I'm just not. Anyways, y'all, welcome in. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I've been trying to start like 15 minutes earlier, so just so I can sit around and bullshit with you guys for a little bit before we get everything going, you know? Corey, I am well aware. It took me down last night, and then I went to my backup, and as soon as I hit go on my backup, it was like, you're automatically on a restriction. Like I haven't been live on that account in months, and immediately it was like, you're restricted. I was like, okay, cool, thanks, appreciate you. So either it lifts it or I'm going to just shut it down. So if you guys are over on TikTok, and I'm sure they'll love me saying this too, make sure you follow me on YouTube and Twitch, because that's where I'll be. Hey. Just saying, that's where I'll be. Can we start this live out? Yeah, we love the TikTok shop, right? Or whatever they say. Can we give a big W's in chat for Feisty starting out the live with 10 gifted memberships? Big W's in the chat for Feisty for the 10 gifteds. Huge in there. I didn't even get to catch and see who all got them because it was so fast. Let's see. That was Epic, JC, Luis, Terry, Emery, Mr. Jones. Not Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones on YouTube. Ricky, Lady Freedom Rocks, Pete himself, KZ. All those people with the gifted memberships to start this out. Big W's in the chat for Feisty. That is absolutely huge to start out on Tuesday. Man, I love it. Love it so much. Make sure you guys send an extra big W in that chat if you got one of those. Hey, I just want to make sure that y'all know that I'm talking about some random guy, some guy on YouTube that is not the person that You know, y'all on TikTok know who I'm talking about. Not him. y'all know it's not him. Okay, just to let you know. I do want to just clearing the air on that one, okay? Just clearing the air on that one. All right. Well, thank you again, Feisty. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the gifteds. And also, hey, if you'd like to become a member, that's also awesome. If you just became a member, make sure you join the Discord. Put in your stuff for the Discord for the membership in there. That way you get the members only spaces, which is always great. For members, for super fans, and if you're over on the Twitch side of things, also, if you're a member over there, you can also do the same thing. So thank you so much over on the Twitch side too. I appreciate that. What's going on, Kramer? Tara, again, I'm on a restriction over there because it automatically restricted me the second that I clicked go. So that's why I'm about to dump this over here if it doesn't start acting right. And I'm going to delete this entire account, to be honest with you. No, you're fine, Tara. I was just saying, so my main is gone, and then my backup, it immediately was like, we think there's some suspicious activity. We're restricting this immediately. The second I hit go. So I am already over it with them today. Already over it. So that's what I said. Make sure you're following me on YouTube. Make sure you're following me on Twitch. I know you are, for sure. But make sure you're following me on YouTube. Make sure you're following me on Twitch, because if I have to take this thing down, that's where I'll be for the next week. For sure. Luis, thank you so much for the 5 more gifted. What's up, Git? 5 more gifted over here. Thank you so much for the 5 more gifted, Luis. I believe this is Puerto Rico, Luis, I believe. I love whenever he sends me super chats because I get to go, Puerto Rico. It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part of the whole live. Luis with the 5 gifted. Shout outs Kayla, Lovely, Prob, Blinded, J-Rob, Tina, all getting the freaking memberships over there. Big W's in the chat for Luis from Puerto Rico. Luis comes here, he learns the arguments from me, and then he takes them to argue with his MAGA friends in Puerto Rico. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? All right, Tara, I'll see you over there. Isn't that awesome? I love that. Have to learn Spanish. We were just talking about that, actually. So, like, Ari does, like, the Duolingo thing, like, all the time, right? I can't do the app thing. I need, like, a tutor, right? Like, I need someone to sit me down and teach me. I'm not going to learn on the app. It's just not my way of learning. Okay. I'm not gonna Duolingo my way to learning Spanish. It's just not gonna happen. Okay. I learned a little Italian when I lived there. Thank you, SYZ. I don't know how to say that, but thank you so much. I see your comment. That was very sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, I need someone to sit me down. We were actually I'm gonna learn. I need to. I don't have time right now. I don't have time. As soon as I get time, I will totally do it. But again, Luis, thank you so much for the 5 gifteds. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, actually, funny enough, CC, I actually told them that too, which is actually funny. By the way, oh my goodness, and look at that. Tara comes over from TikTok and joins the groupies. I really appreciate that, Tara. Big W's in chat for Tara for coming over, joining over here to become a member over here. See, you don't just have to have them gifted. You can go to the page. It's right where you went and hit that subscribe button, and you can hit join. And if you hit join, you can actually subscribe also too. So that's a great way of supporting the team and supporting the stuff over here. Yeah, see, I actually told them that. I was like, you guys are dumb. Like, I'm just going to go other places. Like, I'll be fine. Regardless. Yay, Tara. I don't know if Tara's in the... I haven't seen her comment yet, so I don't know if she's in the landscape or if she's in the I don't know if she's in the landscape or she's in the or in the vertical. I'm not sure. We'll see her in a second, I'm sure. All right. Well, the phone lines have not started blowing up yet, and that's okay. We'll get there in a second, I'm sure. Okay, that's why I got on a little early anyway, so we can get this thing going. I need more time. I need more time. Dude, I was actually cooking on Sunday. I made this I made a chicken gnocchi soup. It was delicious. It was delicious, very hearty, very good. Okay. But I was seasoning the chicken, right? And so I was just going to town. I was in my zone. I was like just seasoning the chicken, right? And as I was seasoning it, like all of the different seasonings had the lid on it with the, that stops it all from just dumping out, right? Except for the thyme, right? But I didn't recognize that. So like I'm just popping caps open and seasoning, and all of a sudden I go like this, and just one piece of chicken just had like a layer like this thick of thyme on it. It was like this thick. And I was like, oh, so like literally I had to like pick up the piece of chicken and I was like shaking it over the other pieces of chicken to season the chicken to make the soup. Soup turned out excellent, by the way. Soup turned out excellent. I did find out my stove is broken though. That really sucks. But yes.
It's insane.
More time. He needs more time. I don't need more time. They had so much time. Luis, thank you so much. Since it's Tuesday, let's talk about Trump always chickening out. Hey. Speaking of my chicken, Donald Trump's always chickening out like a taco for Taco Tuesday. Big Dubs in chat. Puerto Rico in the house. Puerto Rico in the house. You know, Bad Bunny, he's not even American. He doesn't speak English like the Americans do. It wasn't great. It wasn't perfect. All right. Wasn't great. Nobody even likes Taylor Swift. Big W's in chat for Luis in Puerto Rico, with Puerto Rico in the house. He's speaking the Mexican. I spoke with the president of Puerto Rico and the president of the Virgin Islands. They said that Bad Bunny, he's from Venezuela. We should send him to CCOT. He's from Venezuela. We should send him to CCOT with all of the Mexicans. He's so dumb. Anyways. He's very dumb. All right. Well, the only thing about being restricted on TikTok that starts is it usually takes a little longer to get my first guest in. So I'm going to turn on the phone lines right now. If you support Trump, you can call in on the phone line that's above my head or enter the guest request box if you're here. And we'll just get started that way. Thank you so much, Luis. I really appreciate that. But it's going to take a little bit longer, which is really the big reason why I wanted to start a little bit early, because I knew something dumb was going to happen over there. I didn't get tacos. I did go to a Mexican restaurant today before live for Ari's birthday. All right. Didn't get tacos. I actually had ceviche, funny enough. I had octopus, shrimp, and fish ceviche. It was delicious. Yes, you see, there is a delay. This one's more direct. The one you're on is more direct. That takes a second. But if you want the delay, that is not on Twitch actually at all. And for y'all that are coming over onto Twitch, by the way, Vicky has just thrown that in the chat just a second ago. I just threw that in the chat saying that you can get a free subscription over there with Amazon Prime. So if that is something you're just interested in, if you're already paying, Jeff Bezos, you might as well let him pay me also. Makes complete sense to me. If you're already paying for Jeff Bezos, you might as well let me get a cut of it. All right. And I think that's fair. What did she have? Enchiladas. She had the enchiladas. By the way, how are you guys liking the lighting? I usually do like more of a blue lighting in here. I decided to go with more of a clear lighting today. What do you guys think? Just out of curiosity. I like it and no are both of the answers that we just got there. I will call it 50-50. Raging Butterfly, thank you so much for the subscription over on Twitch. I really appreciate that. W's in the chat for Raging Butterfly. Oh wait, no, is that? Oh wait, no, that's Slow Prism. Sorry, Slow Prism with the subscription over there. Big W's in the chat for that, for Slow Prism. And Cannibal Kitty with the subscription over on Twitch. We got double back-to-back subscriptions over there. Big W's in the chat for that. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for those subscriptions. I like the darker blue better. Okay. All right. The ambience is fire. It's a calming color. Lighting is basic. Do you have spooky Halloween lighting? It's bright. It's a bit bright. All right. I'm seeing it's a little bit bright. That's what I was a little worried about. I was a little worried that it was a little bit bright. I was worried about that. Watch, we can... Hold on. Let's see if we can... It's not even dimming over there. Hi, how are you?
Yo. What up, B?
Interesting start to a conversation, but I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm living, dude. Living my best life. How you feeling, man?
Is that Halloween-y enough? Awesome. How old are you?
Me? I'm 34.
You're 34. Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I don't know if I ever supported Trump, but as a change agent, yeah, sure, I support Trump. As an interesting change agent to the current political status quo.
Well, I mean, I guess technically fascism is a change, but why are you supporting that?
Fascism's tough, dude. You guys love that. What's up with that? Take me through it. Take me through fascism.
You want me to define it for you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, definitions are cool, but take me through it. If fascism just gets...
Well, definition is starting it, right? Like, we have to start with a definition. If not, what do we have?
I don't know. I just feel like it gets flung around a lot nowadays. Don't you think?
No. I think it's being accurately flung around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take me through it. Take me through it.
All right. Let's start with, what's your definition of fascism?
Oh, I asked you. Take me through it.
Okay, so that's fine. It's palingenetic ultranationalism, right?
Ultranationalism.
It's palingenetic ultranationalism, right? So we start with the definition of a government that is how do you say? We look back at historical governments that are considered fascist, right? We look back at, specifically fascist Germany, right? And we make a definition of fascism out of that based off of how of Italy, right? Where it was first founded. And we look at governments that have been considered fascist, and then we compare the current government and their policies and their ideals towards that fascist state, right? And we see if they compare to those, right? So based off of that, we learn that fascism is a palingenetic ultranationalism with 14 tenets that usually define...
Palingenetic.
Well, sir, yeah, sir. That's just a descriptor word.
I'm barely graduated high school, dude. You got to help me out. I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting there, sir. Don't worry about it. I got you. Okay. So what I'm saying is we're comparing it back to what they felt, right? We have 14 tenets of fascism, like, and we define those governments based off of that, right? But if you really look at the very baseline of it, palingenetic means like rebirth or reform, right? And then you have ultranationalism, right? Which is, like believing that for some reason that your country is better than all other countries for no apparent reason. If that's the most like basic way I could put it down, right?
No apparent reason. I think you're inferring a lot with that. But go on.
What am I inferring?
For no apparent reason?
Sure. Then can you please define why our country and the people in it are superior to everyone else in every other country?
Because we dropped the atom bomb and now everybody listens to us.
Gotcha.
We do what the fuck we want. You
Gotcha.
feel me?
So you think that we're better than every other country, and the people in this country are better than every other person in every other country, based off of a hold on, sir, based off of a singular action that happened, sir. Stand by. Okay. I said you for some reason think that we are better than everybody else, based off of a singular action that we did 80 years ago.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was a dual action, but yeah. But
okay,
I mean,
based off of two actions that we did
80
years ago.
Movie where we got all the best scientists in the world and did what everybody thought was not even possible. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, for sure.
And when did we do that?
I guess that would be like late 30s, early 40s.
That would be late 40s, early 50s, and those were Nazi scientists for the most part. Okay, but again, sir, you're hold on, sir. Again, no. I just want to know if you have anything this century.
World War II.
Sir,
what ended the World War II?
Technically, the Soviet invasion of northern China, but regardless of that,
front, you didn't let me finish. You're stepping all over me. What ended it on the Pacific front? Tell me that those Japanese would have not have fought to the bitter end had it not been for American ingenuity and the atom bomb. Yes or no?
No.
Oh, buddy.
But again, if you want to say that there is a reason,
highest quality of life.
We do not have the highest quality of life. We don't even have the top 10 highest quality of life.
I barely graduated high school. I own 2 homes.
Well, that I believe is that you barely graduated high school. Okay. But sir, do you have anything, sir? You do, sir.
I'm fucking eating with my hands.
Well, sir. Again, do you have?
I barely graduated high school. I've been arrested.
Sir, again, I believe you that you barely graduated high school. Okay, sir, can you please stop crashing out long enough for me to say something? That I also believe.
Drug addicts. I have no.
I also believe that. Okay. Are you going to let me finish a sentence at some point?
Planet in the best time.
I guess that's a no.
I'm sorry. I was trying to finish my thought here.
Yeah.
Go on.
All I was asking you was, can you name something that we did in this century?
This century? What's this? That would be the 20th.
Over the last 25 years. Yes.
Yeah. So that's.
Because so far you've named us taking scientists right? Like 80 years ago, 90 years ago, and 2 atom bombs that we dropped 80 years ago. So I was just wondering if you had anything this century.
And then we did what? I don't know. Fucking built like Standard Oil. Okay, but you said the 21st century, right?
Yes.
Oh, the 21st century. Fracking came from the United States, where we get oil for a lot cheaper, natural gas.
Pretty sure we were fracking before this century.
Well, now it's streamlined and it makes sense to do so. We do it very.
It was also streamlined before this century. Can you name anything that the United States is leading in outside of military spending in the world that we're the most superior at this century?
I don't know about spending, but definitely power and influence.
You are correct. We do have a lot of power and influence, sir. Okay, at least we did. That is starting to fade globally. Okay,
is it?
Because yes.
Is it?
But that is starting to fade globally, right? With the Trump presidency, which is actually true, right? But regardless of any of that, sir, we are not even in the top 20 in education. Okay. We are the most imprisoned country on the we're the most imprisoned country on the planet, which means we're the least free, right? Our passport isn't even the most superior in the world. Actually, it's places like Singapore, Japan, South Korea all have passports, so they're more accessible than any place in the planet, right? We do technically have like the highest GDP, right? But most of that money is concentrated on the top. So the average American doesn't have that money, right? The most of that money is actually up on the top. And you're talking about owning 2 homes, sir. Like, sir, like Owning
That's
two
what-
homes isn't a
let's look it
flex. Lots of other countries, people own two homes. That's not like anything that makes us superior. So what
Yeah, but
exactly
in a
makes
country
us?
like I said, take me back.
What
Take me back.
makes?
So like, you use my
Sir,
example. Let me speak because you're using it again. So use my
I didn't even
example.
get to ask you my
In what other
question, sir.
country, I'm raised by drug addicts. I barely graduated high school. I was arrested before the age of 21. I spent time in jail. I own two homes. I'm happily married with two kids. Buddy, America's the best.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
knew
best.
4 people in Italy like that when I lived there.
Yeah, but Italy stinks. You want to talk about GDP? Italy stinks.
Okay, gotcha. So now it's not about your arrest record and you being raised by drug addicts and owning two homes. Now you want to completely move over to GDP. Yeah, sir. What you just
No, dude,
described,
dude,
sir,
what, dude,
what you just
no, I have
described, sir,
generational wealth. I
sir,
have generational
sir,
wealth.
sir, sir,
Generational
sir. I
wealth.
understand that you barely graduated high school, which you have made very, very clear. But I hope that you at least like consistently graduated kindergarten and it can attempt to actually have a conversation.
Are there graduation ceremonies in kindergarten?
I obviously you don't know, so that makes sense, right? And you said you have kids too, which means they obviously didn't graduate kindergarten either, which is kind of sad, honestly. But yes, they do have graduation ceremonies for that. They actually very much do. Okay, but what I am saying, is, sir, is that nothing that you have named,
we don't have it.
nothing that you have named, okay, makes anybody in the United States more superior than anybody from any other country.
Oh, so now you jumped. You made a jump. You put it to the individual. No, I'm saying the United States, the melting pot. That is the United
No, sir,
States.
it was individual from the get-go. That's why you were talking about your
No,
arrest
buddy,
record,
you
because
started
the United
talking about the
States
United
doesn't
States.
have an
I'm talking about
arrest
the United
record,
States.
sir.
You're
Sir,
talking about
if
the
we weren't
individual.
talking about
I'm
the
talking about the nation.
all right, sir,
of the
sir,
United
sir.
States.
I just gotta let you know,
It's
I'm,
insane.
sir, I'm very patient, sir, sir.
doesn't make
I'm
you
very
any less of
patient,
a piss.
but if you keep
It's
talking over me,
crazy.
I will mute you like a child. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I can do it too, and it's no less.
I wish you
patronizing
would.
than I
It's
do it.
actually very respectable, which you probably don't know anything about. Okay.
Respectful.
No,
Come
respectable.
on,
Respectful would be if I did it. If I'm telling it to you, that's respectable. Sorry, that was senior year of high school. You probably wouldn't get it. Okay. Regardless. Okay.
buddy. Yeah, I'm
We were
sitting in a
talking
paid-off
about the
house right now.
individual,
Jesus,
sir.
man.
But
What
if you
are
want to
doing?
talk about
Going
the whole
on five?
nation, what is our
I'm in a
nation actually,
paid-off
sir?
house. I have no car payments.
All right, you're now being muted. Okay, because again, I don't deal with children. So what is the United States better at?
You know what? I'm gonna get no overtime taxes this year, and I'm still gonna crush it, and I'm gonna bank that money.
Yeah, awesome. So do you want to talk about the overtime tax law?
I'm stoked about it. Yeah, if it passes, if Hakeem Jeffries actually gets off his ass and fucking gets going, he's the most powerful politician in the United States right now, and he's just sitting on his hands. Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, it passed 6 months ago. Cool. Second of all, Hakeem Jeffries literally has no power. Okay.
Doesn't he have all the power?
Nope. What is Hakeem Jeffries' role in the government?
He's the House Minority Leader. No.
Minority Leader, correct. And what power does the House Minority Leader have?
He can get people on his team to sign on to anything at any time if the Republicans choose to make concessions. Why is it shut down right now?
Nothing to do with the House Minority Leader.
So it has nothing to do with the House with the shutdown right now?
Nope, the House already passed the bill.
Oh, yeah, like I said, barely graduated high school, buddy.
Yeah, sir, I don't have a problem with you barely graduating high school. My problem is more with the fact that you think you know stuff. Okay? Like,
Okay.
I know tons of people that barely graduate high school.
Take me through it.
Actually, to be completely honest with you, sir, I know people, sir,
Sir,
I know people that didn't graduate high school, okay? But the difference between the people that I know that didn't graduate high school or barely graduated high school and you, okay, is when they don't know something, they don't pretend to know it. Right? Like,
okay.
yeah. But see, you're pretending to know things and you don't know them.
Take me through it. Take me through it, man.
Okay.
Take me through it. Who's the bad guy?
Okay. So again, what we were all talking about, sir, is ultranationalism. Okay. And you have proven that you are an ultranationalist. Okay.
Yeah, the United States is the shit. It's the best.
Again, and you've yet to show how.
I don't know, dude. I I've been. You haven't seen poverty in like Peru? Have you been to Peru? spent
I
a
have
lot of
not been
time
to
in
Peru. No, I've been to lots
Yeah,
of
dude,
countries.
I
That's
spent a
not one of
lot of
them.
time in Peru, dude. If you've seen their poverty and you've seen our poverty, you would know the difference.
Yes, I have
I've
seen
been
I
to
have
Greece.
seen many countries'
If you've been
poverty,
to
and I
Greece and
actually
seen their
know.
poverty
But
versus
sir,
our
and I
poverty,
actually
it's a
do
big
that. But
difference.
sir, again, we're not comparing the United States to the worst. We'd be comparing it to the best because you said the United States is better than every other country. So there's 193 recognized countries on the planet. I'm not trying to compare the United States to 180, right? I'm trying to compare the United States to number 2 and number 3 and number 4, right? Because in order to be the best, you have to be better than your peers, right? Not
What do you think?
better
What do
than
you
the
think the wealth
worst, right?
disparity
So
in,
like,
like,
how are we
Singapore is?
better than like Norway?
What do you think the wealth disparity is in like Norway? Like the best of the best and the worst of the worst. Do you
Way
think it's,
better
like,
than
just as
ours.
much- Yeah,
Yeah.
and like places like China, places like Japan, like
China is probably worse. Japan is definitely better.
that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, man, I don't know. It's kind of like,
Sir,
who was
there's
that
no, I want to be
goofball
very
that-
clear. There's nothing wrong with loving your country. I love my country. Okay. I very much love my country. Okay. But I also understand that my country needs a lot of work. Right. I understand that there's lots of problems. We are like
I love
one.
the Norway thing. Norway is so funny to me. How many refugees does Norway take in per year?
Actually,
Are
quite
they
a few.
melting pot, or
I mean,
are they,
compared to
like,
GD,
ethnically
compared to their population, quite a few actually. But regardless of any of that, sir, what I'm saying is,
how many dozens of Somalians did they take in? How many Haitians are they taking in on a regular basis?
I don't know, sir.
their
What's the
welfare
number?
State like? Yeah.
Do you say what their
That's tough.
welfare state? Actually, very high. They actually have very, very strong social programs.
Yeah, and is it ethnically homogenous?
No, it's not ethnically
No, it's
homogenous.
not.
No, the people that immigrate there are
No,
very, very
it's
welcome
not.
to their states.
Norway. Oh, is it really? The Norwegians are very. I don't know. I've seen their 4x4 100 team at the. I've seen all their teams at the Olympics. It looks pretty ethnically homogenous to me, buddy.
By ethnically homogenous, do you just mean white?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Because
White,
you do
highly
know
educated.
that white
Well,
isn't
I mean,
an
I guess
ethnicity,
you could
right?
say it's white, but it's highly educated. Highly educated.
So you do realize that white is not an ethnicity, correct?
All right, dude. Okay. Leave white out of it. They're all very highly educated.
Education is also not an ethnicity.
Okay. Take ethnic out of it. They're pretty homogenous in that they're all highly educated.
Yeah, homogenous. Okay, they're highly educated. So you looked at their
Yeah,
sports
dude, I'm
teams.
telling you. What do you?
Gotcha. So you looked at their volleyball team. Gotcha.
They,
No, sir. So you looked at their volleyball team and you were like, wow, they're smart.
No. I can look at them and they all look the same, and then I can tell you what their education is as a populace, and they're a highly educated populace. They can be two separate things that be true.
Why are they so educated there?
I don't know, man. You tell me. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's
sure,
because
I
they
will
just
actually, because they
export
actually
all
have
their
a much
natural
higher
resources
education
to
rate
the
than the
rest of
United
world, or,
States.
like,
Yeah, because they
make
actually
them
have
pay for an entire-
yeah, because they actually
ahead.
have like a much higher, better education system in like their K through 12, right? Where they
Backed
actually
up
learn a
by
lot better
what?
things
Backed up
and
by what?
answer
Paid for by what?
by the taxpayer of Norway.
Keep going.
By the taxpayers of Norway, that's it.
Okay, so by them exporting all their natural resources, they just happen to strike gold with all this natural gas and minerals and things like that. Like that doesn't.
Sir,
help at
who
all,
do you
or
think
it does?
pays our K through 12?
The taxpayers? Yeah.
Gotcha. So that it's the same
Well, I mean,
people.
unless you put your kids in private school.
Gotcha. So their taxpayers that pay their K through 12 and our taxpayers pay our K through 12, yet their education is significantly higher than ours.
Yeah, and like I said, what is their welfare rate? Like, how many people are on welfare?
All of them, sir, they have they have high social programs. That's what I was trying to explain to you before you kept cutting me off.
Yeah, I understand that, but like
you don't, because you won't let me finish. If you'd let me finish, maybe you would understand.
What are the net taxpayers versus the net tax takers? Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? This is something I've been thinking a lot about.
Yeah, they
Like,
have
all
like
the
a
percentages are
40%.
fine.
I think they have about a 40 to 45% freaking tax rate in Norway.
I don't know what that means. The what tax rate?
Like their income tax rate.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like 100% of them are on welfare, as you said.
What? No, I don't think 100% of them.
No,
are on welfare.
100%. Okay, they have a standard livable wage, right? So nobody, so they keep all of their people, sir. They keep all of their people out of poverty. They keep all of their people fed. They keep all of their people housed, right? And the people that are able to be able to do that, the taxes that are actually paid by the people actually go to actually help the people.
And where do our taxes go?
Mostly into the pockets of billionaires.
How?
Through government subsidies, from anywhere from bailing out the oil industry to bailing out the insurance, not bailing out, but subsidizing insurance, right? To our military contracts like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon that make billions of dollars off of our taxpayers every single year. We can talk about banks. We can talk about, really, we can go all the way down the list, of different people that receive our tax dollars.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. You got a guy like Barack Obama that bailed out the big banks and then let them keep the houses and then resell the houses 2 years later, brother. I'm all with you on that one, man. I can't.
How about when Donald Trump actually, through the Fair Housing Acts, actually deregulated the housing industry to allow companies like BlackRock to be able to buy up more single-family housing, creating false inflation of the United States?
Family homes, buddy. It's not happening. They're buying apartment complexes. They're not buying single-family homes.
Oh, gotcha. Do you know that they are literally the highest owner of single-family homes in the United States?
That is not true. That is not
gotcha.
true.
Gotcha.
Gork it. Summon the demon. Put it on Gork. Gork it.
Sir.
Put it on ChatGPT. Gork it. How would you even ChatGPT that? Let's do a prompt.
I don't know, sir. I don't speak barely graduated high school. I apologize. You'll have to do that on your own. All right.
So what'd you say? BlackRock's the highest holder?
They're one of the highest, yes.
No, I think it would probably be Berkshire Hathaway. No.
Even if it was Berkshire Hathaway, that still proves my point.
What? Berkshire Hathaway? Berkshire Hathaway is not subsidized, buddy.
I didn't say that they were subsidized, sir. I wasn't talking about subsidies. Sir, no one was talking about subsidies. Again, sir, you should, sir, if you would be quiet long enough to listen, you might accidentally learn something. Would you like to try it?
No, you told me.
No, that doesn't surprise me. Be quiet, sir. What I said was Donald Trump deregulated.
Claim, but it's not quite accurate. BlackRock, through its various investment vehicles,
does
own large residential real estate, but it's not the.
Sir, I am going to finish my sentence, and if you cannot let me finish my sentence, I am hanging up the phone. Okay. So what I said was, sir, is that Donald Trump deregulated the housing market under the Fair Housing Act, which allowed companies like BlackRock to buy up large swaths of single-family homes, which created a false inflation over the housing market. I in no way said that they were subsidized. Okay, so when you're talking about places like Berkshire Hathaway, they also benefited from the same policies that I'm talking about, but none of which I said was subsidized. Okay?
Okay. So BlackRock's they own the most single-family homes in the United States?
They're one of them, yes.
No, BlackRock, through its various investment vehicles, does own some residential real estate, but it is not the largest.
It's funny how you said some this time, but you said in a significant amount last time. You changed what you said.
No.
No, I was listening to you. I heard you very well.
That it's mostly apartment complexes.
Yeah.
You're the one that made the claim.
No, when you actually read that exact statement earlier, you
got me. The company,
that's not grammar police, sir. That's just fact checking your own statements. Okay, with your own words, which is kind of funny.
You're scrambling because you did that common thing because you said BlackRock's the largest owners. No, the fuck they're not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're Berkshire Hathaway. I apologize. Is that better?
No, dude. I mean, take an L. You got to take that L. You're the one,
Sir, I don't take
pontificating
L's or
filter.
W's. I tried to explain simple, sir.
You said you did the thing. You said the
All right,
line.
I'm
BlackRock.
muting you right now. Okay. What I don't take W's and L's. I try to explain simple facts to people. Okay. But obviously you don't have the intelligence level to have a conversation with me. Okay. So unfortunately, I will have to let you go, sir. But I do hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
Sir, it is or it isn't, sir. Sir, BlackRock, it is.
All right. Well, have a wonderful day, sir. All right. Goodbye.
All right, sir.
All right. Well, it looks like we're starting off with a lot of intelligence to start the day. We're just going great. Okay. But hey, at least he admitted to, barely graduating high school and not being very smart. We're going to keep this thing going. I really appreciate that. Another one. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said MAGA callers pretend to know, then ask for definitions and a history lesson. Come on. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't get paid enough to teach your history, to do what your history teacher didn't, or your civics teacher didn't. Obviously, you didn't pay attention then, right? Make sure y'all hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. And Chester, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. So keep up the good work, probably. I won't be on the stream because I am on the Oregon coast celebrating my 38th birthday. Hey, today is also Ari's birthday. That's freaking a really cool coincidence. That's really sweet. I hope you have a good birthday, and happy birthday to you, Chester. I really appreciate that. Slow Prism, thank you so much. 562 Jules says, been watching you on YouTube for the last few months. Take my saved up Twitch bits. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the bits. I do appreciate that. Lovely Goddess experienced the $2 says, compare this to the caller. They are highly educated. Yep, exactly. One Pixie said, this kid isn't smart enough to have a conversations about colors, let alone politics. The colors do. The colors. That's actually really funny. And Tatted Tech said, Vader, my pug, keeps barking at all the dog whistles this dude just did. Yeah, he was starting to go down a weird thing with a homogenous, white power thing he was trying to do over there. That was very strange. But hey, we're going to move on to the next caller and keep this going. I really, really appreciate all the support and thank you guys so much. Give me a big W chat for everybody who's just supported. Make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really means a lot to me. And if you like support, I do have, of course, super chats and all the fun stuff, subscriptions, members, all the fun stuff open. So if you guys like support the live, I really, really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I'm going to open up these phone lines and keep this thing going. Woo, it's actually really hot in my office today, too. Hello, how are you? I'm going to take off the jacket in a second. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
First of all, thanks so much for taking my call. I've been watching your show, and I think you do an amazing job. Thank you for taking my call.
I appreciate that. How old are you?
I'm only 18.
All right, awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Actually, I'm still in college and everything. And, today we were just talking about this topic, and, we were talking about the executive
Sir,
branch.
before we move forward, I would like a yes or no. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. No.
Okay, sorry, man. Hey, I really appreciate you, but I am looking for Trump supporters so I can have some conversations with the other side. I don't want to make this an echo chamber, but I hope you have a wonderful day, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, y'all. Please only call on the line if you support Trump. I do really appreciate y'all. I think that's really great. But, yeah, I just would like to continue on talking to Trump supporters, so I do appreciate it. Y'all, if you guys are on TikTok, make sure you follow me on YouTube and Twitch, because I am probably going to delete this account after tonight, to be completely honest with you. So make sure you guys do that, because, yeah. It is weird, though, that my phone calls are down significantly today. That's very strange. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 13, but I practice politics a lot, and I'm trying.
It's insane.
I appreciate that, but not interested. Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello?
It's insane.
Am I live?
How old are you?
I am 21.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
No, but I am a fan. I just had a quick question, if that was okay.
Better be real quick.
I just want to ask, why do you think that MAGA always goes to anecdotal evidence, like saying how I see migrants or how I, like that kind of thing? Why do you think that's like their like fallback?
Because all they have is their feelings and no facts. They start with their feelings, and their feelings are based off their surroundings, right? And the surroundings are influenced by what they see. So if they go, "Oh, migrants are invading our country," and then they see 4 brown people, they're like, "Oh, yep, see, it's accurate, and this is how I feel about things," right? So that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll go back to the comments.
All right, no worries, man. Have a good one. Can I put up my main? My main got taken down last night. Hold on, stand by, y'all. It's hot as hell in here. Yeah, my main is down. That's why I'm here. Hello, how are you?
Say hello.
Hi, how old are you?
66.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's kind of a weird comment, but that's fine. Why is that?
Well, I'll tell you why. I think on both sides, you have criminal activity. It starts at the top and it trickles its way down. But the thing of it is, you need somebody to go up against all these people, especially when it comes to immigration. If we went into anybody other's country, we'd be jailed or even killed, depending. But somebody's got to take a stand for America, because you have all these billionaires, and what they're doing, especially in the corporate world, is totally destroying the little man. There is no middle class anymore.
Yeah, so what you're
feel,
saying is you're against criminals. That's what you're saying, right?
No, because everybody is a criminal. You have to be a crook to be a politician, and to be a politician, you have to be a crook. So, it goes both ways. The fires.
Well, that's a ridiculous comment to say that you have to be a crook because you're a politician. That's ridiculous. But
well, show
so
me
what
one
you're
that isn't.
so sir, what you're saying is that you just don't like people that cross the border because you consider them criminals, and you have a big problem with them.
No, totally not true. You know what? And I asked my friend.
Then what are you saying, sir? Because that's exactly what it sounded like you just said.
Nope. What I'm saying is the guy's got enough balls to do whatever it takes to make America great again.
And what is he doing to make America great?
What isn't he doing?
Sure, I can tell you the unemployment rate is the highest it's been in 4 years. We've had the first job loss numbers that we've had in 4 years. Unemployment is back up to 3%, which is what it was when he took office. We now have consumer prices going up. We now have our freaking allies freaking trading with other people instead of us due to his tariff wars. We've had freaking instability within our markets. We're now bombing boats in the Caribbean. We're now bombing Iran. We're now freaking supporting freaking the genocide in Israel. What is he doing that's actually right?
Well, you tell me. Because here's the thing he is doing right. He's standing up to all these people.
To who?
They never paid their fair share. And like I said, politicians, being a politician is dirty. The other countries, we're paying everybody's way in the world. We're the police of the world.
Yeah. How are they paying their fair share, sir?
Help. Pardon me?
How are they paying their fair share?
Well, we're putting tariffs on them right now. You have to. We can't keep Here's the thing of it. We're sending all our enemies money, and they still hate us. So why are we giving them money? Take the money back. Don't give them any money. They're still going to hate us anyways.
Sir, who pays tariffs?
The matter is, the guy, through tariffs, through whatever. I mean, come on, look at these billionaires.
Sir, who pays tariffs is the question.
Well, I think countries should pay their fair share.
No, but sir, what is a tariff? Like, who pays it?
Well, the tariffs come in on all your imports. If you want to go down the aisle, you can see that you got Walmart going to the Asian countries empty and coming back with all their stuff.
Sir, that's not answering the question. You're saying the other countries are paying their fair share. Who pays the tariff?
They're not paying their fair share.
Fine, sir, that's fine. When we put in a tariff, who pays the U.S. government that tariff?
Well, actually, whoever is in the country itself. You got to put a tax
which
on
country?
You can't keep making money. Well, let's talk about China.
Gotcha. So you think China is paying the tariff?
Well, no, they're not paying. You know what? We're putting tariffs on everybody. It's a tax.
Sure, sir.
Like
are we
paying?
You're right. It is a tax, right? So let's use Canada for example, sir. If Donald Trump puts a tariff on Canadian lumber, who pays that tariff?
Well, actually, it'd be the Canadians.
Wrong. Incorrect. It would actually be
You're
the
right, because
importer. No, it would actually be the importer in the United States who imports that. So when Donald Trump's put tariffs on all these other countries, including China, including Canada, all of these countries, okay, who's actually paying that tariff is actually American citizens, right? So we're not we're not doing a punishment to other countries. All right. We're doing a punishment to American businesses and American importers that are importing from those countries.
Well, we have a lot of Americans that are overseas too because of tax purposes. But now
Well, if
they
they're
wanna come back
overseas,
because
they
we're gonna lower
still
it.
don't pay the tariff. Okay. It's still American citizens that pay the tariff. So why are you so happy about Donald Trump putting a tax on American citizens?
Well, here's the thing. We've always been taxed. You know that as well as I do. Taxes is something we have to pay. It's an illegal tax, if you ask me. But, you know, you had these guys on the Titanic, and all of a sudden it goes down, and then J.P. Morgan, you know, comes up, and they end up having the Federal Reserve. You
Gotcha,
know, like
sir.
I said.
So you're
all
saying that
wars are
that Donald
bankers'
Trump
wars.
Donald Trump is putting an illegal tax on Americans, and you're happy about it.
You know what? We're taxed to death anyways. Your dollar is not
But
worth
I'm
its
not asking
value.
about us being tax deducts anyway. I'm not asking about
Mhm.
any of that stuff, sir. You are literally currently at this moment advocating and praising Donald Trump for putting a higher
Absolutely.
tax on American citizens. And I'm asking
Well,
why.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think, well, I'm going as far as saying the billionaires, I think they should pay their fair share, and they don't. We give Zuckerberg money for running his Facebook business. So why don't you start with that and say, why are we giving
I-
this clown money
I-
when he don't even live in the States anymore?
Sir, I
He's
completely
running away
agree.
for a tax shelter.
Sir, I completely agree that we should be taxing people like Mark Zuckerberg more. Okay.
Yeah.
Donald Trump lowered Mark Zuckerberg's tax rate in his first term by 13%, and in this term just lowered it another 8%.
Yes, he did. You're absolutely
Then
right.
why are you advocating for this man if you're saying
Well,
that you
because
want
he's
that person to
standing
be
up to the
so
bullies
sir
of- Yeah,
hold on,
yeah.
let me finish my sentence, okay? I'm
Yeah.
okay. So far you have advocated for Donald Trump putting tariffs on, and tariff is literally ends up being a tax on the middle class, right? Because what happens is those importers have to pay those tariffs. Those importers don't have the margins in order to pay those tariffs. So they take those tariffs and they pass them onto the consumer, right? So the middle class is the one that ends up paying Donald Trump's tariffs. At the same time, Donald Trump is giving a tax break to people like Mark Zuckerberg, to the richest people, right? He has lowered
You're
the
right.
taxes on corporations. He's lowered the taxes for the rich, right? At the cost of the American taxpayer in the middle class. So when I'm asking you, how is Donald Trump doing what's best for Americans, what you're telling me is Donald Trump is taxing the middle class more to give rich billionaires more tax cuts, and you're saying that's a good thing.
Well, I think it's a good thing in one way and bad in another, but it depends on how you look at it. Your dollar is taxed anyways. I mean, pretty soon the dollar is going to go bust, because I was in Europe the last couple of years and they don't take American money anymore. You can't switch it out. So you have to do it at home here and buy. But the thing I'm getting to is the banks always win. Even if there is a war, it's a banker's war, because they provide missiles and money for both sides, you know, so they come out winners. So I think if you got rid of the banking industry and the lobbyists, maybe you'd get a damn good, honest president in there. But until you get rid of the lobbyists, you're not going to have nothing.
Donald Trump
Because-
literally voted against a bill that would have stopped insider trading. Like he literally, like there was a bill put up by a Republican that would have stopped insider trading for people in the government, and Donald Trump vocally came out against it. Sir, I'm asking you why you're still supporting Donald Trump. I understand that you're against big banks. It sounds like you're against taxes, right? Donald Trump took literally millions of dollars from corporate industries, lobbyists and stuff like that in the United States. Literally the ballroom that he's building right now, he took money from bankers. He took money from major industries like Apple, right? He's usually literally using that money to like gain favor in the White House, sir. So I'm trying to understand if you're against all of these things, which honestly, for the most part, sir, it sounds like I'm against them also, right? I'm against the big banks and the lobbying, and I'm against these corporate, interests within the U.S. government. I'm against all of those things also, but Donald Trump is for them. So why are you supporting him?
So you don't think Joe Biden was for him?
I don't, sir. Joe Biden is not the issue here. Okay, I'm talking about no, but sir, I never wanted Joe Biden to be president. Okay,
Oh,
do I think
okay.
he was a better
That's fair.
president than Donald Trump was? 100%. Okay.
He wasn't running the White House. The guy
Yes, sir.
had a memory problem.
Sir. Donald Trump today, okay, today took a dementia, or sorry, maybe it was yesterday. I apologize. Might have been yesterday. I apologize.
Yeah, he took a test for his mental capacity.
He took a dementia test, called it very, very hard. All right. Thought it was an IQ test when it wasn't, and said Jasmine Crockett and AOC couldn't pass it. That was just in the last 48 hours. Donald Trump called a dementia test very, very hard.
Yeah.
And he was like, they made me pick out an elephant and a horse and a lion. It was very difficult. By the time you got up to having me pick out a snake, I could barely handle it.
Right.
Why is he taking so many, by the way? He took one in like November. He took one in April. He's taking another one today. He said he took a freaking MRI, right? Doesn't even know what it was for, right? But said it was the best MRI. It was the best MRI that anybody's ever taken. I took the MRI. They said he got 100% on my MRI. It was 100% on my MRI. No one's ever gotten that high to score on an MRI ever. Sir, look, I agree 100% that Biden, by the time he left office, and probably before he took office, was way too old to hold office. And by the time he left office, okay, definitely should not have been president, okay? And he should have dropped out of the race well before, so we could have got more people in there. Better people in there. I'm 100% okay with admitting that's not a problem to me, okay? But Donald Trump is also going through that same shit right fucking now, and is about the same age as Biden, all right? So I'm sorry, if we're going to be like real here, right? If we're going to be genuine, all right, then we have to put that same fervor that you had for Biden at the end of his term towards Trump right now, which means he is not fit to be president.
And you know what? If it came down to him or Kamala Harris, I mean, I'm not going to lie. She laughed her way through, talking about a yellow school bus. It's even like AOC. She said the RICO law is not a crime. Now, I've seen that, and it's like, where do these people come from? And here's what I'm saying. At the end of the night, they are all in bed together. And that's it. But
wait, hold on. I don't think RICO is a crime.
Really? Why do
I don't think RICO is a crime. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've been spun up on my legal talk, okay? But I'm pretty sure that RICO is not a crime. It's a statute in which crimes are processed under. So it's semantics, right? But you charge someone under RICO, you don't charge someone with RICO. Right? Does that make sense?
And you're right about that. But to say RICO is not a crime, if it isn't a crime, then why even bring up the charge? Right.
It's like saying that like we're prosecuting an undocumented immigrant under Title 8, right? Title 8 is not the crime. The illegal entry is the crime. Yeah. Right? But Title 8 is not a crime. That's what she was saying. She was saying, hey, it's not a crime. RICO is not a crime, right? So she wasn't wrong. She's not saying anything that's incorrect. You don't charge someone with RICO. So comparing that to the things that Donald Trump says is kind of crazy, right? Like you can dislike AOC all you want, okay? I have some things that she does that I really like. There's some things that she likes that I don't like, right? And we can be back and forth on that. But comparing that to an 80-year-old not even knowing which test he took, right? Who's currently the president is kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah. I like, because he's up front, and whether he's honest or not is a different. There's nobody honest. I mean, I'll even say that. But I think it came down between two people, Kamala Harris or him. And Kamala, I'm sorry, she just don't have it. And I read what she did, but it don't make a difference. I think the last great president we had, honestly, I think was probably Reagan. And even then, you could talk about his senility and the whole 9 yards. But I think when it comes down to choice, I think that the Democrats have done a lot of damage, and they're showing it. And I don't think they'll ever get reelected again.
Gotcha.
But I actually do think, too,
so you're a Reagan fan.
This is the last president.
So you're a fan of Reagan.
There'll be another one.
So you've been a fan of Reagan.
I'm sorry?
So you're a fan of Reagan?
Yes. Yeah, I am. I am, and I know he had, his
We have a
problems
petition
too.
here.
But I'll tell you what, I joined the service when they took our hostages, and I was there in '79. And believe me, they let them all go when he came to office because they knew damn well he was going to do what he had to do to get them back.
Peaceful
And that's what
trading
we
partner.
need.
The
Somebody's got to stand
peaceful
up to the bully on the block. But if you're asking me who the bully is, I'm going to come out right and tell you the truth and say it's United States of America. And that's
trading
why these
partners
little
are not our
countries
enemies.
are all
They are our
converging
allies.
together
We
to
should
come
beware of the
against them.
demagogues who are ready
And we
to
aren't
declare
written in the prophecy anyway. Everybody knows that. Even probably the dumbest person on earth probably knows it. But the point I'm making is they're all in bed together at the end of the night.
Can you hold 1 second, sir? I just want to play
Yeah.
something for
Peaceful
everyone.
trading partners
Sure.
are not our enemies. They are our allies. We should beware of the demagogues who are ready to declare a trade war against our friends, weakening our economy, our national security, and the entire free world, all while cynically waving the American flag. The expansion of the international economy is not a foreign invasion. It is an American triumph, one we worked hard to achieve, and something central to our vision of a peaceful and prosperous world of freedom. After the Second World War, America led the way to dismantle trade barriers and create a world trading system that set the stage for decades of unparalleled economic growth. Yes, back in 1776.
Sorry, sir. I just really wanted to play a Reagan quote talking about how bad tariffs were for everybody else. And, I
Right.
just wanted to show that if you really did support Reagan, you wouldn't be supporting the tariffs that are happening in the United States whatsoever because Reagan was adamantly against them.
Yeah, he was, and you're 100% right on that. I think the point I'm getting to is we help all these countries and we keep sending them money and we're not getting nothing in return. So when we don't get anything in return, we police the world. And I think, we should let these countries police themselves. I mean, we can't go in and tell Iran, you have to believe in God when you believe in Muhammad. It's coming down to this. It's good and evil right now. But I actually really do believe that this guy will probably be the last president because I really think with him in power, all hell is going to break loose. It's already doing it now. And he's only been in,
So gotcha, sir. You're still supporting a president who is going to destroy America, and you're still doing that. Might be the most un-American thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If I would have known then what I know now, I would have never.
Well, sir, it's not over right now.
Politicians.
It's not
But I would
over right
never
now,
put-
sir. You can still stand up to the horrific things that Donald Trump is doing. You don't just have to lay down and die over it. Okay.
Exactly.
And even if you made
You're
a
right.
bad decision about Donald Trump when you voted for him in November, you can still stand up to him now and you can still live up to your oath because I believe you said you were a veteran, which thank you very much for your service. I really appreciate that. But you can still live up to your oath. You can still fight against the horrific things that are going on in the United States. You can still do all of those things right now. But sir, when I asked you if you still supported Trump, you still said that you did. And that is the problem. You are still supporting the horrific things that you even believe, even in yourself, are going to destroy this country.
You know what? We're going to be destroyed anyways, no matter who's
No, we're
in
not.
power.
That's not true at all.
Really?
No, that's not
You
true at
think
all,
if Kamala
sir. It's
got in, we
your
wouldn't be
decisions that are
destroyed?
going to destroy us. That is not my decision. I am going to sit here and I'm going to stand 10 toes down. I'm going to make sure this country is not destroyed. I'm not going to sit back and lay down while to watch this country get destroyed. Okay, if you want to do that, sir, that's on you. But I refuse.
No, and I refuse to do it too. But what I'm saying is this, though. When I joined the service back in '79, I was 20 years old. I turned 21 in the service. Our hostages were released. The point I'm making is this. If we talk about big bullies like I brought up earlier, it is the United States. We go into all these small countries, we flex our muscles, we take all their valuables and leave them strapless with
Sir,
nothing.
That's
So-
what Donald Trump is doing right now.
Exact, but all the presidents done
No,
it.
not
Roosevelt
sir.
done it
You're
as well.
supporting the one now, sir. I can't go back and fix the presidents from before.
Right? And we can't fix this one now.
Yes, we fucking can.
You want to impeach him?
I'd
Hey,
love
Mark,
to,
how many-
actually.
How
Yeah.
many, I'm sure everybody would. But you know what? If Kamala was in the same thing, I mean, you didn't have anybody good enough. So we chose I guess the
Trump was not
lesser
better
of
than Kamala
evils.
Harris, or not even in the friggin' ballpark. And while I have my disagreements with her in the way that she ran her campaign 100%,
Yeah.
okay, saying that Kamala Harris is somehow worse than Donald Trump is a load of a crock of fucking shit.
Mm.
Donald Trump is literally suing the American taxpayers for money to put in his own pocket. Kamala Harris would have never done that. He is
Right,
suing
because
the
her husband
American
done it.
taxpayers. Donald Trump is currently suing the American taxpayers for $230 million
Yeah.
to put in his own pocket. Okay. And he's the one who gets to decide whether or not he gets that $230 million. Kamala Harris
Yeah.
would have never done that. You can say whatever you want about it. You can talk about her policies, whatever you want. But Kamala Harris would not be purposely manipulating the stock market like Donald Trump is, would not have been suing the American taxpayer to put
well.
money into his pocket. No president has ever manipulated the stock market, not Biden, not anybody, the way Donald Trump is doing right now. Okay? With his turning on and off of Chinese trade deals that literally manipulate the market right now. Okay? All of those bankers and all of those people, okay, that you're talking about that are freaking getting all these benefits, Donald Trump hired them and put him into his government. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's stop pretending this shit, okay? Maybe you didn't like Kamala Harris's policies.
I
That's
didn't
fine.
like Comey either.
Maybe you didn't like Kamala Harris's policies. That's totally fine. We're not supposed to all love everybody's policies, okay? But saying that she
Right.
was going to be worse than Donald Trump is, no offense, sir, a crock of shit.
Well, that's your opinion. Everybody has one, but for myself, no. She makes a joke out of everything and anything. Her husband is a fucking he's loaded with cash, and look what they do behind closed doors. He's got all the mineral rights now, and it's like, you got to be kidding. That's why I said it all starts at the top and it trickles its way down. At the end of the night, everybody is in bed together.
Donald Trump is
Including
getting
the
mineral rights
Obama.
from other countries right now.
Yeah. Like I said, we're the bully on the block.
All right. Well, sir, I'm going to move on to the next caller. I do appreciate you, but I hope you have a wonderful night, all right?
You too. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Bro, it's just, I don't know. It's just the irony, right? The irony is crazy. Of Kamala Harris. Dude, everything that Donald Trump says, like, oh, I'm going to be a dictator. Oh, he's just joking. Oh, but Kamala Harris laughed about something. Oh, it's totally crazy. Sorry. It feels like misogyny to me. It just does. I'm sorry. All right, y'all make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Especially y'all over there on Twitch. How you guys doing today? Sorry, I don't talk to y'all enough. Sorry, you guys are over here. Hi, how are you guys doing today? What's going on? Which one are you guys at? Which camera? I have multiple cameras. No, you're at this one. Hi. What's going on, Twitch? How you guys doing? Y'all make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate y'all. We're going to go through a few super chats real quick, and then we're going to move on to the next caller. Too close? Too close, Ryan? Too close? Delissa, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. It's had tens of billions of our dollars going to Argentina and Israel, which both their citizens get universal health care and secondary education for free. So much for America first. MAGA brain cult dumbass. Straight up. Why are we paying for everybody else's universal health care while Donald Trump takes away our health care? Crazy. Thank you so much, Delissa, for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. Y'all, over there on Twitch, remember, you can get a free sub if you have Amazon Primes. If you're in there, Vicky, I'd appreciate you putting that chat, that post in there. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Tim, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Said, yo, imagine being part of a cult that supports the destruction of America. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me either, but, you know, I guess other people have their ways. I don't know what to tell you. Can we get big W's in the chat for Delissa and Tim for those two $10 super chats? I really appreciate that. Lady, thank you so much for the 1,200 jewels. I really appreciate that. And the 1,200 jewels again. Thank you so much. And I think that was 3 times with the witch cats. I think it's matching the orange in the background, isn't it? I'm loving that. That is absolutely amazing. Lovely. Thank you so much for 2 hours. Is the government shutdown? The government shutdown is making us great again. I don't know if you know that or not. It's a true story. That's what they're telling us. Raging Butterfly, I'm saying you can do it for free. That's what I was saying. Luca, thank you so much for the $5. Says supporting Trump when his primary criticism of this country is billionaires not paying taxes. Caller is lost. Like, literally was saying my talking points. Literally was saying my talking points and then talking about how he supports Trump afterwards. It made no sense whatsoever. Very, very crazy. Very, very crazy. And Taro said, "I don't don't blame me. I voted for Kodo. I don't know what the heck is who the hell is Kodos." Verillion said Kamala never would have removed funding for the VA. She damn sure wouldn't. They actually support our veterans. Jess for the $5 says, to be this old and this nihilistic is very, very sad thing to see. Caller, if you see this, thank you for your service, but also you may need a Prozac. He definitely needs a Prozac. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And Verillion said Kamala never called veterans suckers and losers. That's also for damn sure. All right. Y'all, can we get big W's in chat for everybody who supported? Those are some amazing super chats, amazing comments. I really, really do appreciate every single one of them. So thank you so much. We're going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing going for a little bit longer. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Oh, you're already subscribed to Jovan. I appreciate that. That's okay. You're forgiven then, Raging. You're forgiven. I like Jovan. He's cool. Hello, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you today?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 33.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Well, I'm kind of a moderate in the sense that I support based on how policy plays out as the president goes and does his thing. Like, I am a person whose background is that my father came here in the 1980s from Cuba with my grandparents. They were pretty much exiled from their nation for being dissidents, and they came here under the Reagan era. My dad and my grandparents are huge Reaganites. I personally am not, but I voted for Donald Trump simply because I just, being someone who's read a lot of political theory, mainly I've read a lot of Karl Marx. I actually own a copy of the Manifesto and Das Kapital, and I've also read Giovanni Gentile's fascist dialogues and like. I did not vote for the left wing this time, even though I voted for them in the past, simply because I don't like the use of the word fascist by people who don't know what the word means.
All right. Well, what do you say that it means?
Well, according to
because I know exactly what it means.
Well, according to Giovanni Gentile himself and Benito Mussolini, who are the founders of fascism, they are people who believe that fascism is a prime form of socialism, wherein they think that the left wing's liberal ideals are a failure and that globalism is a failure, but they agree that countries have a debt to take care of their people through socialism, and they believe that the capitalist free market system of the right wing is also a failure, but they agree with the further right wing ideology.
That could not be further from the truth.
Well, I would like to ask what fascist thinkers you've read to be able to
combat that. Sir, first off, those aren't fascist thinkers. Those aren't fascist thinkers.
Pardon me, sir.
No, you've been monologuing a lot. I'm good. Those aren't fascist thinkers. Okay, those are fascists that were trying to get people to support them. Okay, and that's a big difference. Like, I'll give you an example, right? So, like when when Hitler took over the National Workers' Party, right? The National Workers' Party, he wanted them, okay, to believe that they were more left-wing, so he added socialists in there. Even though he completely understood and had no ideology that was even close to socialism, right? He wanted to add socialists into the party name in order to garner more votes, right? Because he understood that socialism was actually popular and that his stance was not. So he took the National Workers' Party and turned it into the National Socialist Workers' Party in order to gain more votes, all right, therefore creating the Nazis, okay? But that doesn't mean that their actual policy was socialist. It wasn't.
Well, not socialist in the traditional sense that you would see Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels talk about as a sort of global revolution. And this comes from the idea that, as I said before, the fascists reject liberalism and globalism as well as free market capitalism and embrace the tenets of socialism as it pertains to the ultranationalist idea of only taking care of their in-group. And thus, even you may say what you just said, but the Germans...
Hold on. Taking care of your in-group is not nationalist.
No, no, I never said it was not nationalist. I said
No, you said it
also
was nationalist. You said take care
I
of
said
your
it's also
in-group as
nationalist.
nationalist, and it's not.
No, I mean, okay, so let's go back to Hitler real quick.
Sir, it sounds like you're just saying a bunch of... Sorry. You're saying a bunch of words. And separately, they all kind of make sense. And then you try to slam them together in some type of sentence to try to make them make sense together, and they don't. Okay? It's like you took these things that... Sir, hold on. You took these things that are socialist. Sir.
Definitions for those things.
Okay, fine.
And,
What's the definition of socialist?
Well, the traditional Marxian definition of socialist is a person who believes that the workers should have some access to the means of production, that the government's purpose is to ensure that everybody in the society is well taken care of. And part of that also comes from...
So no, you cut two things together. You took Marxism and you took socialism. Those are two different things. Define socialism.
Socialism comes from Marxist ideology. It was written about...
No, Marxism comes from socialist ideology. That is incorrect. What is the definition of socialism? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The ideas of socialism and the ideas of socialism and communism, sir, the ideas of socialism and communism both existed before Marxism did.
Okay.
Marxism comes from socialism, not the other way around.
And where did socialism come from prior to the idea of Marxism, which is where the workers' revolution and the view of oppressed versus oppressor came into modern politics?
The idea of oppressed versus oppressor, the idea of oppressed versus oppressor has nothing to do with socialism. That is Marxism. No, it does not.
The idea is,
no, it does not.
The idea behind socialism, socialism is that capitalism is a system that oppresses the worker, and therefore they need to have a workers' revolt to own the means of production and create a socialist society where the proletariat has the power.
Sir, that's Marxism.
Which is literally where socialism comes from.
It is not, sir. Okay, I got it. So. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so this is for some reason what you think.
This is
Marxism. No, this is what you think. This is what you think. You're like, hey, Marxism existed. And then everything else came past it. Nothing ever existed in this world before Marxism. It was Marxism, okay? And then everything existed. But sir, the reality of the situation, sir,
you had monotheism, you had republicanism, you had enlightenment, you had
sir, time to be. I was in the middle of a sentence. You can be quiet now. Cool, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Socialism existed before Marxism. Communism.
You sound like an absolute.
Socialism and communism both existed before Marxism did, okay? Now, while Marx is considered the founder of modern communism, all right, the ideas of communism already existed within governmental systems well before Marxism did, okay? So when I talk about socialism, right, we are talking about the strict definition of socialism, okay, which is the means of production is owned by the people, right? And you alluded to that. Right? You alluded to the means of production being owned by the people. And then you moved all the way over into the proletariat and the freaking working class. And you moved that has nothing to do with it. Okay? That is Marxism. Those two things are separate. Okay? But let me be very clear when I bring this back. Okay? Because I'm going to bring this back. Hey, sir. No one can hear you. I muted you. Okay? So be quiet. What does this have to do with fucking Trump? What does this have to do with Trump?
Well, I would have gotten to the point if you would just.
Can you get there now and quicker?
All right. The reason I voted for Trump is because of dunces like you calling everyone who disagrees with you a fascist when you don't even know how to define the word. You literally just grandstanded on your goddamn soapbox that the things that actual
you didn't ask me to define fascism.
By the way,
would you like me to define fascism?
By the way,
hold on. You said I can't define fascism. Would you like me to define it?
You cannot define it.
Yeah, it's palingenetic ultranationalism. Actually, it's actually palingenetic ultranationalism. Actually, is what the definition is.
Okay, you are ignorant to the actual pride that.
I'm glad that he's ignoring my definition. A second ago, he said I couldn't define it, and then as I define it, he ignores it because he doesn't know how to say all the words that I just said.
Your definition is incorrect.
All right, how is my definition incorrect?
because it doesn't take into account for the fact that fascists themselves consider themselves to be a socialist state, a perfect form of socialism.
Yes.
They themselves consider
And
themselves that. And
China
you might disagree. You might disagree.
and the Chinese
simply on the
government,
notion-
yeah, sir. And the
Go ahead.
and the North Koreans currently consider themselves the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. They consider themselves both democratic for the people and a republic.
Okay.
So are they?
Okay. Absolutely not.
So North Korea
To come back
is
to the point, you have
democratic
to
and a
substantiate-
people's republic.
You have to substantiate
No, sir.
your
I want
claim
to
with
hear you say
historical
that.
facts.
I want you to tell me
No.
right now that North Korea is democratic
I just
and a
did.
people's republic.
I just did it. I just denied that, actually.
Oh,
Like,
you just
I'm pretty
denied that,
sure
but
you
they
just
said
denied
that they were. The people in North
Okay,
Korea
hold on,
are
so hold
saying
on.
that they
you
are.
ignoring. You are purposely and intentionally ignoring the historical context behind the situation.
No, I'm not. I'm actually
Hitler-
completely addressing the
Hitler was-
historical context. You are the
No,
one who was
actually,
just
you're
saying
not,
that
because you're
somebody
conveniently
said
ignoring-
it, so
you're
therefore it's
conveniently-
true. That is what you're saying.
You're conveniently ignoring the fact that the Nazi Germans had a system where their in-group was the German people, their nation people. Anyone who was not a white Aryan German was not included in the in-group, but those people who were white Aryan Germans had access to free health care. They had access to a cheap vehicle made and produced by the state, and they had access to a bunch of other state-funded programs that only affected the German people. And therefore, I am telling you that
That's
because
not
the historical
socialism.
context
That's
says that-
nationalism.
No. Okay. Again. Socialism. Okay.
Sir,
so
I'm sorry. Let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you a question. You ask me. I'll ask you a question. Okay. Please explain to me where the people own the means of production, okay, which is the definition of socialism, right? How that includes free healthcare.
Because the people are the government. Because the people implies the people are the government. Just like in the United
So
States,
how is
the people are the government.
so the
right?
people are the government. So how is the government owning means of production include free healthcare?
Because free healthcare is produced by the labor class. The healthcare is produced by the labor class, and when the government owns the means of the production to the labor class, in Germany, for example, where all the doctors had to be state doctors, they own the workers class that is the doctors, the doctors who do the labor. To nurses do the labor. The pharmacy technician in the pharmacy does the labor, and when the government gives it away for free, they're owning the means of that production.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm not implying that the socialism you believe in is the same socialism.
I didn't say I
that
believed in
fascists
socialism.
do.
I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck this has to do with Trump, besides the fact that you're just
Right, I'm getting
grandstanding
it, I'm
about
getting
some
it.
other shit and
All right,
fucking
so I'm
not
gonna-
answering the fucking question, sir.
Yeah,
Your
I don't
literal
like the
entire
idea.
definition of this entire argument, like literally has been Mussolini said they were socialists, so they're socialists. That has literally
God.
been the entire crux of your entire fucking point is Mussolini said they were socialists, so they're fucking socialists. Okay, but yet you completely deny the fact that freaking China
No, I
calls
didn't
themselves
say that,
communist
actually.
and they're not. You
I
deny the
didn't
fact
say
that
that,
freaking North
actually.
Korea says that they're democratic when they're not. But if I ask you to, if I talk about fascism, all right, then define fascism.
Fascism is National Socialism. National Socialism is the
And under
socialism
whose
is the
definition?
idea that the government owns
Under
the means
whose
of production and shares
definition?
it only with its preferred group of people.
Awesome. Under whose definition?
Under the definition of the authors of fascism, who
Who?
were proud of their ideology,
Who?
who believed just like
Who?
Giovanni Gentile, Benito Mussolini.
Mussolini, you are literally
literally
what I just fucking said, ding dong. What I
In
just
addition-
said is your definition of fascism is literally what Mussolini said fascism was to his own people. You have no definition of it
goodness.
outside of that. So therefore, Kim Jong-un says that fucking North Korea is democratic. So therefore, it is democratic. Yes or no?
You're being so ridiculous
No,
right now.
you're
because
being
you're
fucking
ignoring the
ridiculous, sir,
historical-
because when we look at fascism, we look at fascism from the eye. Sir, that's okay, sir. I'll educate you. It's fine. I'll educate you, okay? I educate people on here all the time. It's
Please
totally fine.
educate me. Educate
I'm
me
trying
better
to.
than the people who wrote the book.
Gladly.
You left this.
Gladly. If you would shut the fuck up, you'd already be educated. If you would shut the fuck up, you'd already be
I'm talking
educated.
to you, bitch. I'm not talking to your audience. I'm talking to you.
All right. You ain't talking to nobody now. Yeah. So the way we define fascism is through governments that have already been defined under the fascist state, right? Like you said, invented by Benito Mussolini and then moved on into Nazi Germany, right? And then we take what those governments actually did and we put them into a category which is considered fascism, right? But see, you're looking at fascism as a socioeconomic ideology, and it's not. Okay, it's a political ideology and it is a movement towards a political ideology. So while socialism, sir, you can keep talking all you want. I already said you were acting like a child and muted you. Okay, so now if you would be quiet, you might actually learn something. Okay, so while socialism is an economic strategy, right? Fascism is not. Okay, so those two things don't even fit into the same category. So you're trying to combine. All right, I'll just take my headphones off. That's fine. So when you're talking about the difference between socialism and fascism, they don't fit into the same category, okay? Socialism is a form of economic strategy, right? An economic ideology, right? The same as communism and the same as Marxism is. Fascism is a political ideology when it comes to rebirth and reform of a country back to its original state. It's a cultist freaking rebirth into a certain part of a country, a golden age in which the country has already existed. Okay? So if you stop putting those two things together and start putting them separately, okay, you'd understand that there's no way the same. So technically, a government could be socialist and could be fascist, right? Technically, but that wouldn't last too long because the 14 tenets of fascism that show like exactly how you break down fascism, none of them actually equate to anything that would actually be in a socialist ideology. All right. So you're taking two things. You're taking somebody who is a fascist who then said, I want to have an economic status that is socialist. And then you are putting those two things together and you somehow can't figure out the way to separate them in your head. Okay. You still there? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you respond now that I've taken...
Unlike you, I'm not afraid to listen to what the other person had to say.
I've been trying to get you to listen to what I had to say the whole time. I had to mute you 3 times because you wouldn't shut the fuck up.
So now it's my turn. Okay. What do you call it if a person decides that he's going to take the power under the reins of socialism and he's going to give socialist benefits, but he's only, let's say, for example, just so we don't have to use the white race because we always use the white race. Let's say, for example, an Arab nation that has people living from, I suppose, the Caucasus Mountains, maybe bordering Russia, or nearby, or Near Eastern, Near Asian, they have Oriental Asians living in their country, decides that they're going to campaign on socialism, but they're only going to promise their socialism to ethnic Arabs. And they're going to oppress everyone else who's not an ethnic Arab, but the ethnic Arabs are going to have all of the benefits of socialism. What do you call that? That's
an authoritarian dictatorship.
Right. So my problem is that fascism is a really, really heavy word that means something extremely evil. And the people on the left, maybe not you, but the people on the left have a tendency to not just call their political adversaries in power fascists, but people who may just be everyday people who are struggling and who may not know better or who may be looking for some sort of change. Because let's be honest, the American system has not been benefiting anyone since we were children. I mean, I grew up in this generation, and how many horrible events have we been through in our lives? So people vote for Donald Trump, okay? And the reason I didn't vote for the left the last time and the last time before that is because I was being called a fascist simply for not being on the bandwagon and being center-right. And by center-right, all I mean is that I don't believe that my gun should get taken away. I don't believe I should be taxed more than my burdens and that I barely, produce for myself. And that the government that we founded in this country and as American citizens was built for us as American citizens first, and that we have the right and sovereignty to pick and choose who's allowed to come in like any other nation. And I'll back that up with a story.
No, I don't want your story. That was so much. I don't want your story.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I want to address what you said. So now that you've calmed down enough, sir, now that you've calmed down enough, now I can actually address what you said. Okay?
Very well.
Perfect. So what you're telling me is your feelings got hurt by somebody who didn't matter who called you a fascist. Okay,
No,
I'm
that's
sorry,
not it.
I'm very sorry that happened to you. Okay, because
No,
I
that's
don't
not
know,
it.
sir. Time to be quiet. Okay, you said a whole bunch of stuff, and I just want to address it. Okay, your feelings got hurt. Okay, because somebody that does not matter called you a fascist. All right, and I don't know whether you're a fascist or not, sir. To be completely honest with you, you don't particularly sound like one. Okay, but here's the problem. Okay, is that the people that are running the government right now are. Okay,
But I
and not
disagree
every,
with that
sir, stop. Thank you. The problem with fascism, right, is that it tends to draw conservatives who do not realize that it's fascism, right? So every single conservative out there who calls like immigrants invaders, right, uses immigrants as a scapegoat for job problems or money problems or anything like that, right? That's falling under the tent of fascism, right? And it's what fascists use in order to gain support from non-fascist, specifically conservatives, right? That's who they get it from, right? And they usually, and this happened both in Italy and in Germany, right? They use a specific leftist ideology, villainize that leftist ideology, right? And call them the enemy. Right. And I will give you the example of that within our country right now. Right. They say that wokeism is a problem within the United States. Right. They vilify that ideology. In Nazi Germany, it was the communists. Right. They took that leftist ideology and villainized it and then started calling them the like terrorists, like Donald Trump has just called, everybody on the left, like friggin' radical left terrorists. They're a domestic terrorist group, right? This is no different from the Reichstag fire in Germany, right? Where they blamed the communists for a terrorist act, right? And then used that to villainize them in order to take them over. Right? So not every conservative is a fascist. I don't know if you're a fascist. Again, based off this short conversation that we have, it doesn't sound like you are. All right? But just because I'm willing to call the actual fascists, right? Doesn't mean that everybody that supports them even knowingly is supporting fascism. You might not be a fascist whatsoever and have a problem with some type of woke ideology or some type of, immigration status or whatever, right? And then have fallen in line with a fascist ideology that has nothing to do with it. All right? So let's be clear. I'm not calling you a fascist. All right? I am calling out what is fascism, and I'm calling out your support of it, even though you might not know it. Make sense?
Yes, and I just want to clarify something. I don't care what some Joe Schmo in the street says to me. I don't care what some streamer might say about me. My problem is when I see people in government throwing the word fascist and Nazi politicians, and even honestly, dude, like even communists and whatnot, because my thing is, McCarthyism was a thing, and I'm afraid that we're living under a modern day McCarthyism. That's the first calling you is not to say that I'm a MAGA person. It's to say that the reason I supported Trump and have still support of some of his policies is because I feel like the other side's messaging is harmful to the middle of the population, to the moderate population, who, as my mother always said, you have to win flies with honey, not vinegar.
Sir, again, if you have a problem with people on the left identifying, fascism as fascism, all right, but you don't have a problem with Trump calling people on the left domestic terrorists?
No, I do have a problem with that.
Okay.
I just said on both sides. The rhetoric is on both sides.
But sir, fascism is just a definition.
I just told you I don't agree with everything Trump says, and that's one of the things I don't agree with. I don't agree that we should be
I didn't know he was muted. That was on me, man. Sir, what I'm saying is you were muted on one of my chats. My bad. I apologize. I accidentally kept you muted on one. I did not mean to be.
But what I was muted, by the way, I just felt unheard for a second there.
Sir, what I'm saying is, calling someone fascist is just defining someone with an adjective. Okay? Calling someone communist is defining someone as an adjective. Calling someone socialist is defining someone as an adjective. Okay? Like, if you want to take my like if you want to take my viewpoints, right? I probably lean closer to socialist than I do to capitalist, right? I don't have a problem with that because I don't take socialism as a curse word, right? Because it's just
I'm not saying you should.
it's just an economic standpoint in the way that you see things, right? It is an economic way of saying, hey, I believe that the people should own the means of production, right? I believe that people should have more of a stake in things instead of just having billionaires run things, instead of having an oligarchy or something like that, right? I believe that. I don't take that as a hit, right? If you call me communist, right? I'm not communist, right? But if I was, I wouldn't take that as a hit. I would just calmly explain, like, hey, I'm not communist. This is why. Right? Because I believe that we need governments. I believe that we need a governing state. I believe that we need that to take care of people, right? So why, when I define when I define myself as social, if someone was define me as socialist, I wouldn't take it offensively. When someone defines me as communist, I don't take it offensively. But people get so offended when I say fascist, when it's just an adjective of the political ideology in which is being implemented.
Well, I would say that that's up to a personal belief because I don't take offense to being called anything. I take concern in the rhetoric that's being passed around at the public level, at the higher levels. And this goes both ways. I just told you that one of the things I don't like about Donald Trump's presidency is the turning up the temperature when, like, the last few presidencies have been very divisive. And I think that the idea of turning up the temperature after a right-winger got shot and calling for more blood on the other side is incorrect, and I fully support that notion that it was not correct for Trump to do that. But at the same time, when I hear the word fascist in a post-World War II order, I think about the struggle of the fighters who fought in World War II, and I think about the damage that that could do to a population of people who are not fascists, who, as you said, maybe get swept up in the current. I still don't believe that there's fascism happening in this country because I don't see all the historical connections. And I may be wrong. I'm willing to concede that I'm not a perfect person who I'm not, like, I know plenty, but I'm not someone who knows everything. And I may be wrong, but if I'm not wrong, this is a harmful thing that could be happening because when you think fascist and you think about World War II, you think I can do anything to this person and it would be okay because they're evil. And that's the concern that I have.
That's what's happening. Like, and that's what I'm saying, sir. That's what's happening. Okay. When you look at the things that ICE are doing to people in this country, right? Donald Trump called immigrants the vermin that are poisoning the blood of this country. Okay. Which is a quote from Hitler, by the way. Okay. That's what he called them. And he is using that ideology. He is using that rhetoric, right? To then send ICE agents out to literally attack people, right? And some of these people are undocumented immigrants. Some of these people are not. Some of them are American citizens. Some of them are permanent residents. They're all across the board, right? And a lot of them are undocumented immigrants, right? But just because someone's an undocumented immigrant does not mean that you can treat them inhumanely. It doesn't mean that you can send them to countries that they're not from. It doesn't mean that you can send them to places like CCOT in Venezuela, or not Venezuela, El Salvador, right? That are torturing people, like who have known for like sexual assault and torture. It doesn't mean that you can take people and put them in like places like Alligator Alcatraz with like 8 people to a cell, 1 toilet, no air conditioning, right? Like that's what I'm saying, sir, is that that this is happening right now. They are treating human beings not like human beings. Okay. And this is just one step towards it, right? Like we've already seen the court cases that are in violation of the First Amendment, of the 10th Amendment, of the 14th Amendment, where he's been in violation of all of them. And that's not even all of the ones that he's probably been in violation of. Those are just the ones that he's been found in court to be in violation of. Right? He is currently, like I said, calling the left domestic terrorists and using that as a way to deploy the military against the United States citizens and using them to treat people inhumanely. Right? So, sir, if it was just rhetoric is whatever. Okay? Rhetoric, is bad, but like it's whatever. He is currently using the presidential power, the executive power, to implement the exact thing that you're saying right now. Is people just being treated like whatever, like not human beings at all. And I am never, ever going to be okay with that, ever.
Right. And honestly, like, as a child of 2 immigrants, who came here in, like I said, in the 80s legally. I am like mixed up on the issue myself. I don't have a solution for how I would get undocumented immigrants back to their countries and then afford them the chance to come back the legal way. Obviously, like, I'm not a person who thinks that immigration should just end. My parents are immigrants. I think that there needs, one second. I think that there needs to be, sorry, that was my fiance. I think that there needs to be a level of, I suppose, reform in the immigration system so that things can be more streamlined. I mean, the immigration system sucks as it is, but unfortunately, I don't have a solution. And the fact of the matter is, I've lived in Hispanic communities. I am Hispanic. You know, I speak the language and everything. And I've seen like the impact of mass migration in those communities. And while it seems from the outside like it's not that bad, the overcrowding gets really serious. Like in my neighborhood, there was once a house that had 17 people, all undocumented, living in it. And it was like a 2-bedroom house. So like it's unhealthy conditions for them as well. But also where I lived, there was a large group of people who were Latin Kings, and those gangsters were going around looking for undocumented immigrants to join the ranks. And so the problem is, I concede that that there's likely a better way to handle it, but I also concede that I don't know how to fix it, and it is something of a problem.
Sir, I think we can all agree that it's a problem. Okay? Like, I don't think anybody anywhere is saying that undocumented immigration is a problem. I don't think anybody's like disagreeing that we need to stop, crime and cartels and all that sort of stuff, right? I think we can all agree on that. All right? The problem is what I'm saying is, hey, let's use humanity in which to do it, right? Especially to the people who aren't in that. Because let's both agree, right? You said you grew up in those communities. The large majority of the people in those communities are not Latin Kings, right? They're not MS-13. They're not any of those things, right? That might be a small, tiny little percentage of people, right? Less than 1% of people that are doing that. But if we concentrated our efforts from a federal government standpoint on those people, and not the people who have been here for 10, 15, 20 years, who have been working, who have been paying taxes, who have been doing things as much as they can the legal way, who have stayed out of trouble. If we're using our federal resources to go after the people who are doing nothing, then we're not using our resources to go after people like the Latin Kings, right? And when people like Stephen Miller, the deputy chief of staff of the White House under Donald Trump, said, hey, stop going after criminals and start going after people at Home Depots and 7-Elevens, then we're not doing that, right? So while your problem is an issue, and I want to be able to fix that issue, Donald Trump is not trying to fix that issue. He's trying to perpetuate that issue. He is trying to freaking send armed soldiers into cities to create violence so that he can extend his power under the executive, under the Insurrection Act, right? This has nothing to do with immigrants. This has everything to do with the executive trying to expand power.
All right. Well, frankly, I'm not going to argue that claim because I will admit that I need to do a little more research on that just so I could better understand the issue. And I'm not here to argue things that I don't know anything about and make myself look like an idiot. But essentially, that's my stance on, like I said, I don't support Trump wholeheartedly. Like, I'm not a person who's like, oh yeah, I'm MAGA. Like, I kind of think anyone who supports any political movement without criticism or without skepticism is a little on the lesser intelligence side. But as I said, for me, it's a matter of these problems have never been addressed appropriately. I know you're going to probably bring up the bill that was killed during the 2024 election cycle, but that bill permitted for the voters to only be closed after a 7-day period of 5,000 immigrants coming in every single day. And so the problem is, like, I don't vote for the other guy because the other guy doesn't even try to fix the issue. I voted for this guy because I thought he would fix the issue, but I didn't think he would do this. You know what I mean? And it does give me more to think about. And I'm not like a Trump loyalist, but I'm just calling in to share the perspective of a moderate who doesn't have any fierce political allegiances.
So I was not going to bring up that bill, but since you have brought it up, I do need to correct you, okay? So it was 5,000 on average over a week. Would have been a mandatory shutdown. 4,000 on average over a week would have been an optional shutdown. And any day that had 10,000 would have been an automatic shutdown, which if that bill was signed, the day it was signed would have shut down the border. Because we had already reached that average over a week. So the literal day it was signed would have shut down the border. All right. So I really wasn't going to bring up that bill because I didn't think it had really much to do with what we were talking about, but it would have shut down the border immediately. Right. And again, this was written primarily by Republicans, and it would have done 90% fix a lot of our problems. Not every problem. Not every problem. I don't think we would have fixed every problem, but would have fixed a lot of problems. And Donald Trump stopped it, which I think is a problem. So, I mean, teach their own, I guess.
Well, I guess I just got to do a little more research on it. Again, I'm sorry for losing my cool before. I felt like I wasn't really being heard. But ultimately, I'm glad that things took a more productive turn at the end of the call. And like I said, I don't know everything. I'm not going to purport to know everything. I'm an average working class American. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I'm calling you so that maybe I could find more understanding from the other side and reach more of a middle ground. Because I believe in my mind that the truth of all reality lies somewhere in the middle, not on either end.
Well, let me be very clear, sir. I don't do this for a living. I am also an average middle-class working American. Okay? Like, I just want to everyone know this. Like, I am a very average, very middle-class, blue-collar working American. Okay? That's it.
Well, I never accused you of not being that.
No, I'm not saying you did, okay? But what I'm saying is like, sir, I see the perspective of exactly who you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because I live it. I go to the grocery store every single week, right? Like, I live on a budget, right? I see what's happening at the gas pump, right? I see all of those things. I'm not some rich billionaire that's like up doing whatever. Like, I go to work every day. Like, I gotta go into work early tomorrow. So I gotta get offline soon. That's why I got on early, so I could do that, right? So I could go to work early tomorrow, right? Like, I'm working just like everybody else. Okay. But I just want to always, and just being completely honest, I want to always make sure that I put people ahead of everything. Okay? If we start with supporting people, supporting human beings, okay, regardless of their race, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their sexual orientation or sexual preference, right? Like, if we can start with that, then everything else kind of falls in line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can have secure borders and treat people like people, right?
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, there's no reason why, like, the immigration process has to be the way it is. Like, there's no reason why people should feel the need to have to hop the border illegally because of how difficult it is to get in the country. And as I said, I agree with that. Being from my because of my background, I don't agree that I believe that there should be a lot of reform done at the governmental level to prevent the need for illegal migration to be the thing that people default to when they try to come into the country. But the fact of the matter is that my entire life and your entire life, there has been no reform. There has been no attempt to stem the tide. And, honestly, it's just a very rough situation. And unfortunately, like, I'm a person who, I see things like for what they are. And even though I might be wrong about Donald Trump and whatnot, I just don't see how the government has done anything in the past. And I don't agree with everything Trump is doing. Like I said, and I understand that you're also a middle-class worker. I never said you weren't. I'm just sharing the perspective of someone who is on the other side, kind of, maybe a little bit more on the other side of the fence than I would be on the fence. And, it's not about understanding the perspective of poor Joe Blow. It's just understanding I'm a center-right, middle-class American, and this is why.
All right. Well, I will be honest with you, okay? And before I end this call, because I am about to hang up and keep going to the next person, but to be honest with you, sir, to be completely honest with you, if you're truly center-right, you don't support Trump. All right? True center-right would be closer to Joe Biden. Like, honestly, he's more center-right than anything. Joe Biden is a conservative in most countries, right? That's honestly the reason why I don't support Joe Biden, or like didn't really support him for president and stuff like that, is because he was literally someone on the right. All right? But if you're considering yourself center-right as in between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, you're not center-right, okay? You're not. You're very, very far right. All right.
That's that's your opinion of me. My own political compass test would put
Sir,
me as a classical liberal.
I wasn't making an assumption of you. I was just responding to like what I'm looking at. Center right is Joe Biden. That's
Maybe in Europe it would be, but the United States political scale is different.
yeah, sure. So you're not center right, right? You're pretty right,
I'm center right by the American standard. Like, I voted for both
which
parties.
is pretty
in the past.
fucking far right.
I don't even know what that means in that case because it's not like I vote for anything crazy. I vote for less taxes, smaller governments, and more rights for the individual.
Cool. Donald Trump doesn't support any of those.
If you say so, dude, like
He's increased our government. Sir, he's increased.
Neither has any president prior to that since I've been alive. So who do we fucking vote for? Like, who do we vote for? Who do we get in power? You know what? I honestly hope that Donald Trump represents the end of our political system so that we can get some quality leadership in for once.
Yeah, if that was the case, there is no America.
No, I mean like the political parties.
No, that's not how this works. Okay? If you're a study of history, which you say that you are, look at every single hegemony that has ever existed. You don't fall one step down. You fall all the way down. Donald Trump isn't going to cause us to get a reform. Donald Trump will call us to crash as a country. Okay? And that's the issue. But anyways, I'm gonna move on, but I do hope you have a wonderful night, okay?
You as well.
All right, bye. Yo, I'm gonna have a few super chats, and wow, I was on that call for quite a while, I guess, wasn't I? I am used. Thank you so much for the goats. I appreciate so many. Oh, dude, there's so many goats. I am used. Thank you for the goats. There's so many goats. Megan, thank you so much for the $3 for just. I hope you spoiled Ari today. I spoiled her on Sunday, really, or on Saturday, but either way. Freddie, thank you so much for the $5 head. They say all that, but still support him. Yeah, it's really, really wild. It really, really is. Absolutely crazy. All right, y'all. Where am I sitting at today? Make sure y'all hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much. And I've seen so many new subs and followers over on Twitch too. I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much. I do want to make Twitch something that I'm I'm really excited about and ready to do this on. So thank you guys so much for making it a part of that. If you guys would like support, well, actually, you guys have already done the support. Honestly, I think I might just call it a night. I'm kind of tired anyway. Also, I'm not gonna lie. I went to dinner with Ari before this, and I had a couple margaritas, so I'm kind of chilling out over here. So hopefully, I didn't make myself a full idiot over here. But I hope you all have a wonderful night. Okay, I'm gonna get some sleep. I really appreciate you guys, and I have to be up early tomorrow. I kept on TikTok since they allowed me to. They lifted my whatever it is. So I really appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys know tomorrow is my late night, so I'll be on about 7:30 Central. Hope to see you guys then. All right. Love you guys. Bye.